The cave that answered only one question, high beyond the last village, where the air thinned and the mountains leaned toward the sky. There was a cave people spoke about in hushed voices. Shepherds passed it quickly. Travelers avoided camping near it. Elders mentioned it only when teaching lessons to children, lowering their voices as if the rocks themselves could hear. They said the cave answered only one question. Not two, not another, if you returned. Only one for one soul in an entire lifetime. Some claimed long ago a king had gone there and never returned. Others said a poor man went inside and came out smiling, living a simple life afterward, as if the world no longer tempted him. No one truly knew, but everyone agreed on one thing. The cave did not lie. In the village below lived a boy named Ion. He was no different from other children. He laughed loudly, ran barefoot through dusty streets, and dreamed big dreams. Sometimes he imagined himself rich, living in a large house with servants. Sometimes he imagined being famous, his name known far beyond the mountains. Yet, unlike many children, Ion also loved sitting with the old imam after listening to stories of the prophets and the hereafter. The imam often spoke about the shortness of life and the length of the Akhirah, about how this world was like a traveler's shade under a tree. Ion listened, but like most hearts, his was still learning to balance desire and wisdom. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, Ion heard two men arguing near the village well. One was wealthy, but restless, his face tight with worry. The other was poor but calm, his eyes steady. If only I knew what would bring me peace, the wealthy man said bitterly. I have everything, yet my heart is never full. The poor man replied softly, maybe you're asking the wrong questions. Those words stayed with Ion long after he returned home. That night, he lay awake staring at the ceiling, thinking about questions. If he could ask anything at all, what would it be? By Fajr, his heart had made a decision. He would go to the cave. The journey took an entire day. The path was steep, stones cutting into his feet, the wind growing colder with every step. By the time he reached the cave, the sky had turned a pale gray, and the mountains stood silent like witnesses. The cave entrance was ordinary, almost disappointing. No glow, no markings, no guards, just darkness. Ion swallowed hard and stepped inside. At first, there was only silence. Then, slowly, a deep, calm voice filled the space. Not loud, not frightening, but powerful enough to make his heart tremble. You may ask one question, the voice said. Choose carefully. Ion's mouth went dry. Suddenly, all the questions he had ever imagined rushed forward. He thought of wealth enough money so his parents would never worry again. He thought of success being admired, respected, remembered. He thought of knowledge knowing the secrets of the world, understanding everything. The cave waited. Ion remembered the wealthy man by the well, his restless eyes. He remembered the poor man's calm voice. He remembered the imam's words. This world is temporary. His heart beat faster. What if he wasted this chance? What if he chose wrongly and regretted it forever? He closed his eyes. In that darkness, he imagined two paths. One was wide and bright, full of noise, praise, and comfort. But it ended suddenly. The other was narrow and quiet, sometimes difficult, but it stretched on endlessly, filled with light beyond what he could see. When he opened his eyes, they were wet with tears. He spoke, how can I live in this world in a way that pleases Allah and saves me in the Akhirah? The cave grew completely still. Then the voice answered, slower now, as if each word carried weight. Remember me when others forget me. Choose honesty when lying is easier. Give when you have little, not only when you have much. Control your desires, for they are guests that do not stay forever. This world is a test, not a home. Walk through it lightly. Ion felt something settle in his chest, like a storm finally ending. And remember, the voice continued, the Akhirah is not earned by wishes, but by actions, done sincerely, even if they seem small. The cave fell silent. Ion waited. But no more words came. He knew the question had been answered on, that the chance would never return. When he stepped outside, the sky was brighter, and the mountains no longer felt heavy. They felt like companions. Ion returned to the village a different child. He still played, still laughed, still dreamed, but his dreams changed. When others argued, he listened. When others mocked, he stayed quiet. When he had something, he shared it. When he made mistakes, he asked Allah for forgiveness instead of excuses. Years passed. Ion grew into a young man, then into an adult. He never became rich. He was never famous. His house was small, his clothes simple, yet people noticed something about him. They trusted him. They felt at peace around him. Children ran to him. Elders sought his advice. When hardship came, he was patient. When ease came, he was grateful. One day, a traveler asked him, "What is the secret of your contentment?" Ion smiled gently, but said nothing. Because some answers are meant to be lived, not spoken. And far above the village, the cave remained silent. Its single question, already answered, its purpose fulfilled. Moral: the Dunya offers many questions, but the Akhirah gives the only answer that lasts. A wise heart chooses what benefits, not just today, but forever.